You ever get that eerie feeling when you're walking alone at night? That chill running down your spine, the sound of your own footsteps echoing, making you think you're not alone? Tonight, I'm going to share with you 3 spine-tingling stories of night walks gone horribly wrong. So, if you're brave enough, let's dive in. Story 1. The Trail of Shadows. It was a cool autumn evening when Jack decided to go for a jog on his usual trail. The path was secluded, surrounded by dense woods, and the only light came from his flickering flashlight. As he ran, he started to hear leaves crunching behind him. At first he thought it was just the wind, but the sound grew louder and closer. Jack stopped, turned around but saw nothing. He continued running, but the feeling of being watched didn't go away. Suddenly his flashlight died, plunging him into darkness. That's when he felt it. A cold hand on his shoulder. Jack turned, but no one was there. He sprinted back home, never to return to that trail again. Story 2. The Whispering Alley. Emily worked late shifts at a cafe and often walked home through a narrow alley. One night she heard faint whispers echoing off the brick walls. She quickened her pace, but the whispers grew louder, almost like they were following her. Emily looked around but saw no one. The whispers turned into sinister laughter. Terrified, she started running. As she reached the end of the alley, she glanced back and saw a shadowy figure standing where she had been moments before. Emily never took that shortcut again. Story 3. The Vanishing Figure. Tom loved exploring abandoned places. One night, he and his friends decided to check out an old dilapidated house on the outskirts of town. Armed with flashlights and cameras, they ventured inside, the floorboards creaking under their weight. As they explored, Tom noticed a figure standing at the end of the hallway. Thinking it was a prank, he called out to his friends, but they were all standing right beside him. The figure slowly moved towards them, and as it got closer, it disappeared into thin air. Panicked, they all ran out of the house, leaving behind their equipment. Tom swears to this day that he saw the ghost of the house's former owner, warning them to stay away. So next time you think about taking a night walk, remember these stories. The darkness hides more than just shadows, and sometimes it's better to stay in the light. Stay safe and sleep tight. Pause 2. 5S. Just when you thought it was safe to venture out at night, here are 3 more terrifying true night walk horror stories that will send chills down your spine. Story 1. The Silent Pursuer. It was a foggy night when Sarah decided to take a shortcut through the park to get home. The park was eerily quiet, with only the distant sound of crickets breaking the silence. As she walked, she felt an unsettling presence behind her. She turned around but saw nothing. With each step, the feeling grew stronger. Suddenly, she heard soft footsteps mirroring her own. Panic set in, and she began to run. The footsteps quickened, matching her pace. Sarah finally reached the edge of the park and dared to look back. In the mist, she saw a shadowy figure standing still as if watching her. She never walked through that park again. Story 2. The phantom hitchhiker Mike was driving home late at night when he saw a woman standing on the side of the road, her thumb outstretched. Feeling a pang of sympathy, he pulled over and offered her a ride. She silently got into the back seat, and Mike noticed she was shivering. He offered her his jacket, but she simply pointed ahead, signaling him to drive. As they neared her destination, he turned to ask her for directions, but the back seat was empty. The jacket lay there, neatly folded. Mike later learned that a woman fitting her description had been killed in a hit-and-run at that very spot years ago. Story 3. The Haunted Tunnel. Jake and his friends were thrill-seekers, always looking for the next adrenaline rush. One night, they decided to explore an old railway tunnel rumored to be haunted. Armed with flashlights, they ventured inside, the air growing colder with each step. Halfway through, their flashlights flickered and went out. In the pitch darkness, they heard whispers and the sound of footsteps echoing through the tunnel. Suddenly, a cold breeze swept past them and they saw a faint, glowing figure at the tunnel's entrance. Panicked, they ran back the way they came, never looking back. To this day, Jake can't explain what they saw, but he knows he'll never set foot in that tunnel again. So if you ever find yourself out for a night walk, remember these stories and think twice. The night holds many secrets, and some are better left undiscovered. Stay vigilant and take care.